Hey guys, look, I've just come from a workshop and super inspired by it all. I've learned so much. We covered this awesome content regarding the 4 levels of experience or the 4 levels of thinking. We spoke for hours about it at this leadership workshop, and I'm going to try and condense it into a couple of minutes, so bear with me, but let's get straight into it. So the first one is a level of experience that is where we're doing what feels good, is good for me, is good for others, and is good for the greater good. Okay, so this is what we love. This is awesome. Things that would be in this group could be mentoring or coaching, could be riding a bike, it could be reading your book, cooking a beautiful meal, things that come easy and naturally to you, feel good for yourself, others, and the greater good. Procreating, for example. There's lots of things that fit into number 1, and it's the kind of the level of experience we all most enjoy. Level 2 is what is doing what does not feel good, but is good for me, good for others, and good for the greater good. So this is where we're expanding our comfort zones, we're pushing ourselves. And while it's unpleasant in the short term and we might be fearful and nervous about it, it's good for me, it's good for others, and it's good for the greater good. So an example in network marketing might be holding your first event. It might be public speaking for the first time or the first couple of times. It might be doing a video for the first time. Whatever it is, it's something that's unfamiliar to you and you're not really enjoying doing it, but you know that it's beneficial for others, yourself, and the greater good. Now, level 3 is when we're doing something that does feel good, but it's not good for me, it's not good for others, and it's not good for the greater good. So while it might feel good in the short term, it's pretty bad news. And this would include taking drugs, alcohol, smoking. From a more psychology perspective, it includes procrastinating. So while it might feel good to not do that task, it's not good in the long term. Nor is it good to buy into your self-limiting beliefs or limiting thought patterns, where it might kind of keep you safe in the short term, but in the long term, it's not good for you or others or the greater good. And level 4 is doing what does not feel good, is not good for me, is not good for others, and is not good for the greater good. So I'm just going to assume that we're not evil and there's no murderers out there listening to this blog, and we don't really need to talk about level 4. So let's go back to the other levels. Now, it's really interesting because most people are wanting to exist at level 1. Level 1 feels good. It's lovely. There's no bad outcomes that come from level 1, except that you remain stagnant. There's no growth at level 1. It all feels good and it results in goodness, but you're not growing. So level 2 is where the money is, baby. Level 2 is where you're growing. It's where you're pushing your comfort zones. It's where you're embracing uncertainty and you're doing something that scares you, but it brings goodness for yourself, for others, and for the greater good. So what I've learned from this workshop, and you know, this is apparently common knowledge to a lot of leaders, and that is that you need to operate a lot at level 2. And the more you do level 2, the more successful you become, because you're forever doing things that are pushing your boundaries and pushing you. And yes, you may not be enjoying them in the short term, but you do it enough times and they soon slot into level 1. So something that was really, does not feel good, but is good for self and good for others and good for the greater good. Let's say public speaking. You do public speaking enough times and then up it goes. It starts to feel good. And then you can go back and challenge yourself on something else. So it's really a dance between 1 and 2. And like true rock stars, people who are really killing it in the network marketing industry or wherever are doing that constant dance, and they're challenging themselves with level 2 all the time. So I hope that wasn't too wordy. I know that there was a lot of language in there, but I just find the message so good and so applicable to anything we do. So when you are planning your day, start to categorize it at those levels and think, well, hang on, is there enough level 2 here? Am I pushing myself? It may not feel good in the short term, but it's got all these other benefits and it will slot into level 1. So approach it that way, and I hope that helps, because I just found this so cool. All right, guys, good luck with everything, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye.